if you want a custom picture for me, hold on, let me send you.
Gone. Bubs is gone.
If you want a custom picture, you can use
This
the.
is this is what I have. This is my like thing. Give me a sec.
Yeah, I'll just put mine in no mic.
There you go, Nikki. That's what I've got. My pile of people.
If you guys want a picture for me, use what I put in no mic. If any of you have a picture you want me to use, put it in no mic.
I love like I'm on your head.
Well, yeah, because you're the little tiny chibi.
I'm gonna download this file.
Here you go, Toxic. And here you go, Val.
I have no idea how to set this up. I hope my artist knows this. Zero idea how to make this work.
Wow.
Thanks for making me a VTuber model. I have no idea how to put it together.
Nice.
I love Alva. She's so cute. Oh. I don't got a clue how to make it. I don't know how to fix it. Ooh. Oh shit. No,
oh, did I put it on piling by accident? Whoops.
Shit, dog. Damn, we're gonna have to wait for tomorrow to do this.
What do you mean?
Why?
Because I don't know how to throw it together right now.
You could just use PNG. I mean, I'm streaming.
I know you're streaming. I just have it, like, I have an actual 3D model now.
Yeah.
So I kind of wanted to use that. I paid good money for this.
I mean, that's understandable.
Val, do you have a picture other than Bubs? Because it's not showing Bubs right now. It's just showing you.
Yeah, I'm just gonna use a default picture. I don't have anything.
Rip.
Look, Bubs is too big.
A sea cucumber.
Why my sea cucumber?
Who knows? I don't know.
My picture is gonna be different on everyone's stream.
Yes.
Look, baby, look how cute this is. No, I can't find it.
Just give me a sec. I'll be right back. I put myself on piling by accident. Whoops.
Okay, cool.
Right, now we're actually somewhat prepared. Hello.
Are we?
Hello.
So today we have.
You do my
Everyone.
intro, so hold on a second, let me get
Yeah, yeah.
You can do my intro too.
So today we have
You gonna take turns?
we have Toxic Tabby to my left. We have
Hello.
Val, who doesn't have any other name right now, to my right, or a picture for that matter, which is why they're that. And then up here we have Tyler, who today is very small, which is funny.
Be so judgmental.
Wow.
Shrunk down.
Hey, you get
They
control
call
of
me-
your stream.
They
Mm-hmm.
call me Val, but you can call me G-string.
Stop it! Stop! You're gonna get me in trouble.
It's been a
Wait,
total of
so-
2 minutes.
Jesus Christ.
Sorry.
Wonderful.
What the fuck?
Val, there's such a thing as a stream mask. I think
Let me double check.
think you
Why
might.
are
What's your
you-
name again?
Hmm?
What-
Lyneth.
what's your name again?
Lyneth.
Lyneth, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
What
I'm gonna
are
just
you,
open- I'm
creature?
gonna open the Twitch channels chat just to make sure. The thumbnail on my stream in the Twitch channels chat has the stupid normal picture. I love that.
Tyler's a big fan of the
I-
normal picture.
I guess I'll do an intro. I guess.
You
this
guess?
is the first ever intro ever.
Hey
Yeah.
guys.
Hi guys, the sky does my no.
No, stop it! Stop, please.
Not Sky does Minecraft.
How do you hover
Join
in
the-
this game?
Join
I
the
feel like
game.
I'm out of the
You
loop.
need the boots.
Oh.
Right, we're gonna. Yeah, just give me a second. We need a scout.
Come over here. You must find the
Everybody's favorite mischievous little fox bastard is in the game. Hooray!
Hell yeah.
Oh, we can't both be Scout.
Ah.
have to change.
What? So, what you gonna do, huh?
I feel like there's a pretty sharp difference in the level ranges.
Oh yeah, actually, there's there's 4 characters, aren't there? So we can be one each.
Stream's bandwidth is a little soggy.
That's
Oh,
fine.
soggy for a little couple seconds.
You'll have a
Um,
little.
Right,
Scout.
so we have scout, gunner, engineer. I guess I'll be driller.
But
Love
the
drama.
individuals to my right on the stream, we have the linguistic Lilith.
Lilith?
Stupid.
Lilith?
Lilith.
Lilith.
Yep.
Wow.
We have
We got
Tig. We have Tig right here. This isn't Tig. This is the other one. And of course, where you we have. God, stop bouncing around. And you. We have you.
We have you. We have you in particular.
I don't get a name
No,
until
but,
I start streaming.
Sorry. Never done an intro before. This is so new to me.
It is, isn't it?
Sorry. So on the stream to my right, on the far left, it is me. Hi, I'm Toxic Tabby. And on the right, from left to right, we have a Lyneth, we
Mhm.
have a Tyla, and we have a Val.
Y'all
Are
done
we?
for intros?
Yep.
I don't think
We're yeah.
Okay,
We have
well,
so yeah.
Hey, I'm doing my
sorry.
intro.
Hello, all Max. We're all fine. How are you?
You're
You're good.
fine. I was mostly making fun of Faith.
What?
Fuck.
Of who?
Alright,
Sorry.
you guys
Of
wanna
who?
tease the alcoholic.
You making fun of?
crazy-
You making?
Yes.
Prop on time.
You know,
prop
I'm
on
just
time.
gonna say, like, you know, how typical of Tyler it is to make
Why
fun
are
of
you
people.
with-
'cause
How do you get this way?
You wasted money on the game.
I feel like
Why are you
I'm
why are you
lacking a
looking
little
at-
bit.
I'm just gonna say for everyone on my end, it's quite typical for Tyler to be a bit cheeky. So you know, it's just kind of how
I
that
also
goes.
just want to say now, I can't see everybody's user tags unless I stand really far away from them. So sorry.
Hey, guys.
We're all different. We're all different classes. I'm pretty sure it'd be easy to distinguish.
Oh, so you can see the top left, can't you?
Hey guys,
Sick.
funny new
I don't
thing.
know.
Funny new
Oh.
update. We got a new
Whoa.
beer. We can play prop on.
Wait, what? Wait,
That's cool.
wait, what? Really? Wait, hang on. Sorry, what?
Did you order them?
Hold on, before you
Did-
continue, let me explain. Basically, I got the seeker mug, and whenever you drink your mug,
Hello.
if you have one of the ones with the boots on it, like everyone but me, then you'll turn into a prop, and I have to go find you.
Fuck yeah, let's do it.
That.
literally prop on.
Spimby, come here.
One second.
Okay.
I'm playing
Alright,
Let
Flappy
it just
Bird.
strike up.
Right. I need to keep remembering you're not Spimby. You are.
It's fine. It says Spibble on the thing. I forgot to change my Steam name back to Tyler.
This is why
okay.
I have 2
I
different
don't
accounts.
think they'll be able to find me. I have no idea where Lynn is.
I am invisible.
Alright, Taylor, grab your bev.
Grab your
Drink
bev.
up, it's prop hunt time.
Drinky.
Alright, now I'm gonna look away.
Oh, what? What are these?
Yes.
Random prop.
What the fuck?
Oh wait, I have a little ball I can throw at you guys to hit you. What? It's actually gonna be really hard. Are you guys in like third person?
Yeah.
This is like Gmod.
It's just like,
Oh no! Oh no!
oh my god.
You're a hustler.
Oh my. Oh, this is gonna be fun.
You
Dude,
see the ladder.
I have an idea. We should play prop hunt at some point.
God damn it.
We should play prop hunt eventually. in
Prop
your stream.
hunt and hide and seek. I have a feeling
Hell yeah, I'd love that. Now where the fuck is Tyler?
one of them was a chair.
That was toxic.
me.
I got him.
Who is the septic tank?
I think that was Tyler.
Well,
Somebody
I
that
was
spacesuit.
yeah. I was a spacesuit hidden in a barrel.
Sounds like my flatmate's wearing music. Apologies if that takes up on the stream.
It'd be fine.
They've done worse on stream.
Oh, absolutely.
I wouldn't.
Wait, actually, where the fuck is Tyler?
Yeah!
Hey! Hunters win.
You're welcome, Tyler.
It's a little septic tank.
We can do
Can
that
we-
again.
Yeah, let's do that again, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tyler's last,
Again.
so Tyler should be Seeker, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't want to be this.
You get to struggle.
Too bad. Okay, the first one, it'll have like a little magnifying glass above it, and that's the Seeker's one.
Okay, good to know.
Don't drink up until everyone's ready.
Oh,
Oh well, okay.
Fuck, okay.
I'm sorry. I was moving a plate onto the voters ballot I have on my desk.
I have moved. Okay.
Alright.
I'm hiding.
So how much time do we have to hide?
Who the fuck knows?
It's 4, 3.
Wait,
What? You kidding me?
Hurry up.
Fuck.
Damn.
Oh, this works, I think.
Stingy.
This does not work.
I hope y'all know I don't play Deep Rock often, so I don't really know what's what.
You'll figure it out. Where even is this prop on the space ring normally?
Who's that over there?
Rocket launch that.
Hey, Clarinet or Max, what do you think? What do you think? Do you think this is good? Do you think this is good? Look at them over there,
I
being.
don't know.
Look at them over there, the stupid little cow thing.
Little cow thing.
I think I got the best spawn. It's not even close.
Hideous little
Hey,
cat.
hey,
Can I cry myself to sleep tonight? I hope you know it's in your name.
Well, my name,
Man, how can you do that
Yeah.
then?
Maximum Still.
If
See, I thought so.
Barrels? If I kick the barrels, will it interact with you?
Do you think? I mean, like, do you
Do I think
see?
it does decide
Do you
or
see
not?
what I'm seeing with the things on the floor?
Jesus.
Do you see what might be a problem if they've got a bit of a?
I swear to God, if you see a bit of a brain, I'm gonna drop kick.
Wouldn't be too hard. I mean, I'm 5'3", you're 8 foot tall.
I don't.
I wish
like
I could
this.
know where you guys were.
I saw someone walking around in the center console, and I'm like, "What are you doing?"
Don't worry, I'm doing something even dumber. Hey, you guys see me?
Look at them over there. Look at completely clueless. What are you doing in my? What are you doing in my? What are you doing? What are you doing in my room, huh? Tyler, what are you doing?
Yeah, fuck you.
Wow. See, you see what I mean? Tyler's really mean to me. Tyler's mean to me, guys. You see?
No, it's friendly fire. Alright?
Is it? Is it really?
Yeah.
Friendly fire.
I hit Tyler.
Damn, is this one of you?
What?
Should we start dropping hints eventually?
Never.
Oh no.
I'm a little bit slow.
You know what?
You
I'll
might
do
have
it.
to drop
I
me.
spy with my little eye something metal.
I spy lots of metal
That
things.
doesn't help at all.
I spy lots of metal
That was
things.
the point.
Yeah, that was the point.
I spy with my little eye something that is short.
Wow, is it?
I
me?
see lots of green.
Oh, wait! I didn't know you could do this.
What?
What?
Don't worry about it.
What are you throwing back or something?
Wait.
You can like pick up shit and throw it.
No way.
I don't even know how to get up there, which is the sad part.
Wow.
Wait, no, is
Give me a bit.
I love.
You know, I wonder how long I can last here. To be honest, I wonder how long I can last.
You know what
This
I?
lesson
hold on.
way too long
I-
for how bad this spot
I'm pretty
is.
sure I can do this, but how funny would it be if right now all we had to do was just hit the.
Yeah.
I see you fucking shooting at me.
We're a bridge! Oh wait, no, the flag.
Oh shit. Oh shit.
Oh, I don't know what's going on over there. I don't know what's
Where'd
going.
you go?
I don't know what's
Can't
going on
get
over
me.
there.
I'm
I think Tyler found Val.
You can't get me. I'm in soup.
What do you mean you're in soup?
Do you know what? Actually, whilst I'm here, I'm gonna.
You're a massive fucking refrigerator.
If you don't follow them already, I would. See if this works. Does this
Oh my
work?
God, you
Man.
can-
It does. Look at that. I am the best at Nightbot.
Hell yeah.
What'd you do?
Well,
Oh, I see you. Oh, I see.
Fucking talk to me. I've been at that spot for most of the game.
I just saw you move like that.
yeah. If you don't follow these two, go ahead and do that because.
This is actual
yeah.
bad. Hello?
Oh wait, why is Toxic Tabby not
I
there?
feel kinda
That's weird.
bad. I might like let myself get hit. I feel really bad.
Weird. But yeah,
No.
fucking. I definitely recommend you follow these people because they're great.
Great streamers, the both
Yeah.
of them.
Tyler in particular is a phenomenal artist.
It's kind of whack.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. They are. They're very good at their job.
I see you.
I'm not entirely sure why.
I've seen both
I juked you
Val and
so
Toxic.
hard.
Just bear with us
I
a moment.
juked you. Oh.
You're a giant.
Is it capital T on both of those? Let me have a look. Let's try this. Let's try this again. Toxic for yours. Is it capital T's for both?
Yes. It's Toxic and then Tabby are both capital.
That would be why.
This is
There we
daylight
go.
robbery.
Never
Plugging
mind.
us? How do you plug us?
Wow.
I feel so like.
Toxic, could you just DM me your channel because I'm not having good luck with yours.
Yes. Of course.
Hey, do you see my awesome hiding spot?
I don't know how I lost
Third,
that massive
third-
That's
refrigerator.
not it.
Third time is the what? That's not it.
It's not capitalized in the URL. I don't know.
You
I
said
see. I'm hoping
Yes,
this
you can't change prop.
doesn't pick up on my OBS. Let me just mute this before anything happens.
I
Where
juked
did you
so
go?
hard.
Here we
Tyler.
go.
I've been duped twice, 3 times now.
Let's see if
Twice
using the
thrice.
URL will work.
Twice, even thrice.
Let's give
I'm
this a
going on
shot.
offense.
I'm gonna see. I'm gonna try this one more time.
You're going on offense.
There we go.
Just
It's a
throw
fucking
something at
ball.
me.
Third time's the charm. Toxic gets that plug. Look at that.
This is bullying.
That's
see it's
exactly what
right
it is.
I don't think Tyler's actually been anywhere near me for the past 5 minutes.
So mean. It's because y'all have the floaty boots.
Who the fuck is the trolley? Who is the trolley?
It's toxic.
No, it's me. It's me. Come back there.
I'm going in the soup.
I like how we're
I
playing.
don't even know what the soup is.
The soup is just the top of the rocket.
Gotta get up to the top of the rocket.
I feel kind of guilty that I'm just sort of. I feel kind of guilty that I'm just sort of sat here and I'm watching Tyler suffering. However, at the same time, I am determined I will not lose.
It's not funny.
I don't want to lose.
I did.
Fucking
It's
hilarious.
not that. No, it's not. It's
Beaten
not.
by a
No,
flying
look.
fridge and a trolley. It's so mean.
And you know something. I'm kind of sad I can't see
I'm
what's
gonna
going
take off
on.
the jet boots.
Oh, yay!
Oh, wait,
Hey, Tyler, come here. Come to the center console. I've not. Come to the center console. I've not moved from where I was. Come here.
Where is what do you mean?
So Tyler, I was the stack of papers that was sat here.
Well, I wasn't gonna go stare intently at a stack of papers, was I? Once I had a fridge and a trolley
Alright,
flying around my
whose
head.
whose turn is it now?
That was terrible.
You go, Toxic.
Okay, I'll go.
Oh,
I don't have
hold
a
up.
beer though.
Apologies.
Can you order?
Yeah, I can buy it for you.
Okay.
Well, then it's my turn, and then we're actually going like.
Jet boots on?
Yeah.
I would, yeah, that was unfair.
Hey, I can show you how to get the jet boots if you don't know how to.
Yeah, where are they?
Yeah, we should all get the jet boots.
Yeah, so...
Everyone, grab your beer and then we go get it.
Oh, okay.
So you two grab the beer. Just don't use it yet.
Yeah, so you know how to get up this catwalk, right?
No.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
The elevator right here.
Why would I take an elevator? Yeah, no, I remember chasing you two around.
Yeah.
Ooh,
It
lift.
was unfair. We live in the society.
Oh,
Yes, we do, Tyler. That's an observation. Well made.
Oh, I went down the...
Oh well, good job.
Where'd
Didn't
the
get
limit
off.
go?
Here she
We're
is.
all over here.
To your right. Hello, over here.
Oh, hello.
Yeah.
Away we
Come
go.
over here and go through the little tunnel that says top hanger. There's gonna be another elevator.
Hanger.
And then you just go up this elevator, and there'll be like another catwalk above the drop pod, and the jet boots are at the end of it.
I hope you know I'm terrible at...
So,
No.
Listen to mission control. He's
No.
a bitch.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
How's everyone enjoying the stream so far?
get these.
Oh, hello.
I have one viewer, and I think it's one
Thank
of
you
you.
for the... Thank you for the follow. I've equipped. Am I base now? Yes! Oh,
How do you do that?
Alright.
Just
down
hold
here
space
with
while
me.
you're in the air.
Drink.
Oh right. Okay.
Alright. That's all I
Alright.
had.
I will go over here. You all hide.
Cool.
Oh wait, who going where?
Drink
Okay.
your drinks.
It's prop on time.
We slurping.
We deep.
Oh fuck off.
Ooh.
I got the best prop.
How I got
I got the
Alright,
best
tell
prop.
me
I
when
belong.
y'all are hidden.
Where do I belong?
Alright, you know what? 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 12, 13,
I'm ready.
11, 10, 9, 8, 5, 6, 7, zebra, 2,
Orange,
One.
purple.
negative 1.
Is it just me, or does the color orange just look like it would taste the best? I think
That's
both of them
because I
look
guess
alike.
statistically it does, because oranges are fantastic.
I saw something in a store the other day, and it just looked so appetizing, but it was unedible. But it was just orange, and it just looked like it would.
When I was a kid, and I mean like really little, we're talking like 2 or 3. So when I was a little tiny fox kid, I ate a bar of soap because it was orange.
Hell yeah.
Yum.
That sounds tasty.
Why do so many fucking? On that note, why do so many minerals look so tasty?
Amethyst looks
Yeah,
like
you
delicious.
were real for that.
Like,
Amethyst,
so many fucking
amethyst looks like it
minerals
would
are
taste like
delicious.
grape.
Mm-hmm.
Real. But
Yeah,
then you've got,
I
like,
do
the
want. I
grape
want to eat some geodes too.
geode.
Back when it was,
Rock
one
salt,
of
rock
the
salt
very
actually looks quite nice. It looks like it tastes like candy floss.
There's you can get like a grape geode that is done
In the
properly. And
chat.
just look like
Mhm.
yeah.
You just hit enter.
Right.
You found me.
300 different buttons.
What?
Fish.
What?
Fish.
Wait, did you actually not see me?
No.
What are we thinking, boys? What are we thinking of this
Oh,
hiding
man.
spot?
I just
My
ran
hiding spot
away
is
when you were.
questionable.
I ran away when you.
It's the best I
Another
could do
barrel.
with a weird amount of time.
No, you're right for that.
I think it's alright. I think it's
I just
passable.
don't know where I belong. I don't know where
Yeah,
I
yeah,
belong.
yeah.
Is this a talk we need to have?
I'm having a midlife crisis.
Midlife crisis is prop hunt.
You know, probably change-
Am I a cow? Am I a deer? Am I this random prop I've turned myself into?
At least
I'm going in the funniest spot possible.
it's my favorite color, so we're all good.
What is your favorite color?
Green.
Green.
But not like green, like forest green. Like I'm about to be a tumble bitch. Like, like forest green. Like
So-
a,
So you mean like the same sort of color as my tunic?
like a dark green. Like
Yeah.
that, but kinda.
Kinda.
Like my left shoe.
Why your left shoe? Why your left shoe in particular?
Because I have two different
Other
colored
shoe
shoes.
gone.
Midlife crisis.
Other
yes.
shoe gone.
Yes, Grant. Other shoe gun. I ate it.
It was tasty.
Cannon. It was tasty.
Who the fuck is that over there?
Don't worry
I
about
can.
it.
I thought.
Bingle? The fuck's a bingle?
I could probably get it.
Someone. Do you remember when the no-fly list got leaked? The person who did it posted a picture of like the computer with the no-fly list and a fucking. I think it was a Leafeon plush, and they just said, "Holy fucking bingle, we got the no-fly list: :3."
I
The
feel
fuck?
like I've gone. I haven't gone somewhere yet. I need to go in here just in case.
Fair enough.
Okay, you can salute while you're a prop.
How do you do that?
V.
V. I'm gonna just assume no one's in here because that'd be mean.
Huh.
It would be.
Oh wait, the pickaxe like shows up to the side of your prop whenever you do it.
Yep.
I spy with my little eye an inquisitive little bitch.
Bam.
Oh, I saw him. I saw him.
I don't see shit. Oh no, wait, I see shit.
I don't see shit. Oh, look, fucking Tyler's got 3 people.
I do know 3 people. I am sitting here. Don't stream snipe me. I
Make that
Stream
4. You know what,
snipe.
actually?
Wow.
no stream snipe.
Now he's just kicking every fucking barrel because he knows I'm a barrel.
Yeah, I have every right to.
Yeah, it's fair.
Anyone in here? You? Are you a people?
I don't think anyone's with Lloyd.
Lloyd?
Yeah, the bartender's named Lloyd.
He has a name?
Yeah, his name is Lloyd.
Uh-oh.
Toxic, don't worry. Once you find my spot, you'll realize how fucking stupid it is.
You're gonna be like
Oh,
someplace
my
over
flatmates
here.
have decided to start singing.
Wow.
Would you like
Oh
a
my
hint?
god. Thanks, Lynette.
You're welcome, Tyler.
7 months.
7
Why?
months. Yeah, and I've paid for every single one of those months out of my own pocket.
Dang, you're gifting subs.
I mean, I could gift a sub if you wanted to.
Wait, no, that's cheating!
Where would you turn gravity off?
Oh, fuck off! No, that's...
That's so mean.
That's a cheat code, but that's
That
really
is a cheat
effective.
That's me thinking outside the box.
I fixed
That
it.
put me in an
I
even
fixed it.
dumber spot that I could have managed.
I fixed it.
My
I
God,
fixed
my
it.
son.
It's fine. It's fine. I've resolved the problem. Never mind.
Ow! Hold on, let me join. I'm gonna join the stream and see this shit.
I don't know.
This is perfect, by the way. Just saying.
I gotta be real. I think I'm I don't know. It's not you. I've already hit you.
What? Oh my fucking god. I just opened Linux stream.
Yeah.
Quickly open mine.
Yeah, let me check out yours.
I'm not gonna.
Oh my god. That's the worst.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
That sucks.
It does suck. I've been sat here for the past 10 minutes.
Damn, I at least try to move around. So mean to me. Let's see.
I mean, in fairness, there's not really many. Look, Toxic. There's not very many places that I could sit. Let's be honest.
It's time to make a scene.
Is it? Oh no! What the fuck are you doing?
Oh, I see.
Making a scene.
Val, what did you think of my hiding place?
Gravity. There we go.
The chaos that I can see.
Oh wait, shit.
I see you, bitch.
No, you don't. Oh no! Wait, no! Oh, I panicked because I was like, I realized the minute you became a hunter, I was like, shit, I'm compromised because you know where I was hidden.
I'm not allowed to. I'm not gonna say where Tyler is. You guys gotta figure that out yourselves.
Oh, what the fuck? Who was? What was Tyler? I forget.
Game, you gotta kill them. Betray your friends.
Yeah, but that's stream sniping.
That is stream sniping. Well done.
Well, what about you? Because I'm
Hey,
pretty sure.
hey guys, I have an idea. So when we all like decide enough's enough and such, I want to raid someone. So if they're still like live when we finish, should we all like jump into my chat and we can go raid them?
Sure.
Sure, why not?
We always go, sure.
Sure.
I have
So-
no idea what
don't-
Tyler is.
I have no
I can't remember what they are, to be honest.
I don't
I
think
think
you
we're
like
like
That little hee.
Oh.
Leave me alone. What did I do to you? This is stream sniping.
I'm just hitting everything. That's my plan of the. Oh wait,
Did they not see you coming?
have I not got any? Oh, did we? What happened?
Safe. I don't think anyone saw.
Are we done, or have I just run out of?
Oh, in here. Hold on.
I know where Tyler is, but
Tyler,
I
you
can't
said
say.
in here.
Oh dear. Oh no.
No, I didn't.
Wonder where in here is.
Wait, so what happened if you get the wrong prop? Oh, you just waste it.
You lose an orb. I have like 2 orbs left, so like,
I don't have any.
if it's Jover, it's Jover.
I only need 3.
I only need 3.
2 for my teammates and 1 for myself.
Real.
God, this sucks.
My head is hurting.
Laughing too hard.
It's
I'm trying to be
I'm gonna
quiet
see
about
anything
it.
different.
Trying to be stupid.
Yo, look at that.
I know. Dark and mysterious.
I think Tyler wins by default at this point.
I mean, yeah, because we're all fucking blind as bats.
Tyler,
I-
press V real quick.
No.
Why not?
Why not?
You don't.
Why not?
Why not?
Why not?
It teleports you to a different spot.
Listen,
Yeah, why
fuck
not?
off, don't gaslight me.
What if it does though? What if he's genuinely telling the truth?
It's not in here. God. Ugh. In here is such a stinkiest way to put it. I have no more ball.
Yeah, neither do I.
It's
And
just
I have
bad
2
on
ball.
the- Oh god. Wait, do you like share?
No.
No.
Nope.
We
Oh.
each
We
have
all
8.
have our own.
Oh,
No,
I
we
didn't
each have
get
10.
that.
Yeah. Wait, so how many do you have, Toxic?
I have 2.
Oh. Hey, Tyler, do you want to just end the game?
Oh, do I win?
I mean, you win by default.
Fine.
They were that space, dude.
It says hunters win, but like fucking Tyler won that.
I win.
Yeah, there's no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, it's your turn, Lena.
Fantastic. I am blind, so you're all gonna have a really
You
easy
must
time with
suffer.
that.
Let me buy the beer.
Fuck. Okay.
This is gonna be fucking like an hour of just us doing
prop hunt.
Hunt.
I mean, hey, you know, I mean, it's technically part of the game, so, you know, it's one of those things, isn't it?
Yeah, it's part of the game, come on.
Magnifying glass.
Yeah.
Alright.
I have hiccups.
You
Alright,
guys
go.
ready?
Stand in the corner.
I can stand over here, can't I?
Whoa, hold on a second.
Wait, let it.
Right, I'm drinking it.
Oh, for fuck's
Oh,
sake.
not again.
Oh, this is one of the props ever.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Okay.
Your jetless.
They don't.
Okay, it's been 10 seconds.
This feels like the most intense gameplay ever.
It's really intense for literally nothing.
I play like horror games, and I'm more scared by the prop
Dude,
hunt and
I mean, yeah, I mean, have you played hide and seek? That shit gets tense, even if you're playing as props.
I like.
Prop hunt is scary.
Okay, there's a world-renowned thing. I'm not good at parkour. That ascends across all games.
Oh, I fucking see you!
Do you?
I see one of you. You're a fucking septic tank.
Not I.
I thought you were gonna go, nuh-uh.
No.
the fuck you mean, nuh-uh? I knew that was you, Tyler. I knew that was you. You did. I like how you stood still for like half a second and then.
Whenever I do the
No, fucking no. Tyler stood still for like half a second and then was like, I saw it. They were like, shit.
Yeah, I could make that. I could not make. I could not make that.
I see Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah, I
It
see
is
that.
Dumb and Dumber.
It really
The
is.
dumbs.
See, I'm the little brother that can't do shit, and Tyler's the big sister that can't get anything right.
Wow.
Wow.
Damn.
It's funny because I know what.
Oh hey, I
toxic
think
is.
it's been spotted.
I think.
Man, you're all the way over there.
I hope you found my Oreo.
Watching you stop for a second.
Wait, does this give an alert to everyone if
Do
I
you-
go in here?
Do you know where one of them are?
Oh, absolutely not. But I know what one of them is.
What is one of them?
That's for me to know, for you to not find out.
You're on the same team.
You had my back.
Yeah, I was
last
telling
round.
you that, but no.
Wait, do you actually know what I am?
They know what I am.
Yeah, I know what you are.
Ooh.
Good, I'm safe. I know what you are. The moon which told me. Oh. Oh.
What the fuck's going on? Where is this?
God. Don't worry about it.
What do you mean? Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it.
Uh huh. Sure.
Why
Sure.
are you running so fucking fast? I feel so slow.
Paper.
Sure, I'm not gonna worry about it.
Okay, this is not a fair hiding spot. This hiding spot is not fair. I'm leaving it.
Is it not? Right,
Oh,
yeah.
how did you get up there?
Hi.
Don't worry about it.
Hello there.
I can't catch Val.
General Kenobi.
I'm too cool.
You are a bold one.
Oh, hey.
Hi.
Fuck. Everything's going
Well, now
wrong.
I've lost Val.
Where the fuck did Val go?
I turned to
Don't
look at my
worry
chat
about
for a
it.
moment because I'm getting plugged by a bot.
It's already been half an hour and we've made so much content up of prop on.
I'm telling you, man. Dude, we should do it like, I don't know, fucking like next week. Should we do one next week? Do a fucking
I
prop.
would be so down for prop on next week. Hell
Dude,
yeah.
either prop hunt or fucking hide and seek. If we could do hide and seek on TTT Waterworld, that would be fantastic.
Hell yeah, that sounds it's so fun.
Dude, yeah.
There you go. We're just gonna do that.
Also, how did I get away?
I don't
I'm
fucking
moderating my
know.
own chat. 1 second. I was modding my chat.
I'm gonna join your chat and call you an L streamer.
Wow. Well, I know
Hey
you're a
guys,
paper.
if you're in Tyler's chat,
actually-
don't say L streamer. That's cringe. That's my job.
You know what makes me? You know what makes me laugh? One of my old friends. Thanks, Val. One of my old friends from high school. I turned around a corner, saw a stack of papers, and I knew it was Val immediately.
Did you get
No.
called out?
Yeah. No. Tyler, come here. Tyler, come here. Where are you?
Here.
So I was walking around here.
Oh, no. My game crashed.
Oh no!
Oh no.
No.
So what is toxic?
Game of chess.
Oh dear.
Oh.
Okay, let's try and get back in.
No, but yeah, I had one of my.
I found you! I found you!
Damn it.
What was he?
He was
That
a
was a
fucking
chair.
chair, and he was sitting with these other 2 chairs because he was a bigger
Sweet.
chair.
Well, now that we've all had a game as the hunter, should we all like go and actually do the game?
Yeah, we should
Alright, yeah,
actually
we can
play
go do
Keep
some.
Rock, I think.
Did I lose my
Alright,
boots when I died?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
We aren't
Do we
gonna
wanna do
carry
the
them
week-
into the
the
mission
weekly
though,
or
so
what?
it's fine. Hold on. Actually, what assignments does everyone have?
What now?
What assignments does everyone have?
I have no fucking idea.
All of them.
Um,
Genuinely, probably all of them.
I got a few.
Conquer, Hoxus 4, Industrial Sabotage. I don't have any assignments because I've got to do all the prerequisites for them.
How are you doing?
Oh
Craft?
yeah,
I
you
see
probably
you in
gotta
my chat.
finish
Are you having
Conquer
a
Hoxus
nice
4.
work
Yeah, we should
hour?
probably-
I'm assuming you're at work.
Hello, crab.
Crab?
Hello,
Crab.
Carb.
Crab.
Imagine
Well,
prop
you know,
hunt in the
actually,
middle
I
of
need
trying to
to,
do missions. Real.
I keep forgetting. I need to actually follow all of you immediately.
Mm-mm.
Organizing
No, I
your estrogen. Make him look pretty.
We should help Linus.
Oh,
because I
here we go.
think,
Hang on.
He's on the same mission as like everyone else.
I think Lyneth just got ding donged by doorbell.
One moment.
Ooh, itchy foot.
Linus
Ah.
and Tigla.
Igla. I spell it with a G because I'm feel like that.
I know.
Thank you,
Real.
Val. Thank you, Dad.
Yeah, I gotta keep it real.
Gotta keep it real, 100%.
Let me react. Funny. Oh, I see the little goober part of Linus setup.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
awesome.
on his head.
Little Idior.
The idiot.
Sorry about that. Mother Fox came in.
Thought you got ding donged.
No.
I think that Tyler and Lyneth are doing the same assignment, just at like different stages.
Probably, yeah. I mean, I've not touched this
Yeah, I
game.
think Lyneth is at an earlier stage. So
Yeah, I've not touched this game at all.
technically-
Tyler's just having the time of her life. Like, I mean, look at that. Look at it go.
Yeah.
I'm easily.
Which one?
Amused.
Lyneth.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which one is that?
Should be a Morkai mine?
More kite.
Alright.
Yeah.
Friends only, because only you're my friends.
Yippee.
Aww.
Yippee! I can't do the voice.
Fucking
I'm
hell.
still gonna go that high pitch naturally. I need a drink.
Let's go.
Swagalicious.
I'm bringing my war crime build.
What kind of licious?
Swagalicious. Caca-licious.
Don't say anything. I hate everything.
We're big.
If we get
big
copyrighted because of fucking Carcalicious, I will.
You know what? That would be
Actually,
the
I can't say
epitome
that
of
on
my
Twitch.
stream period, and I
I
will
can't say that
happily
on
go
Twitch,
down with
actually,
that.
never mind.
Yeah.
I'm not going down because of Carcalicious.
I'm better than that.
Who are we missing?
Dice,
got
dice,
everyone?
dice.
Yeah, we've got everyone.
Dice, dice,
Slap the dice for good luck.
Oh wait.
No,
Lineth,
no, he's gonna get
come.
left behind.
No, row.
Oh, what the fuck?
Rocket
Going down.
stop.
Okie dokie. Wreckenstein. What the fuck?
Sound effect. Did you accidentally hit your soundboard?
Yeah.
we're all just sat there like we're all just sat there like fucking ragged stone, and then just fucking hell.
Woman scream number 4.
Okay.
Oh, real bad.
Yay.
Yay.
Okay, guys, remember we don't have jet boots anymore.
Yippee!
Well, that's a
What
bit
am I
of a.
playing?
You're
Scout.
Scout.
Playing dwarf game.
How do you mine things again? I forget.
Wolf
Oh no, never mind. I remember.
Right click. Good job.
Flashlight.
And if
Dinosaur?
your drills are
Oh,
down
that's-
to 3.
Flashlight.
Yeah, sure.
Flashlight.
Tyler,
Red light.
Okay. You know how to use your grappling hook, right, Tyler?
Mining with flamethrowers.
Oh, absolutely not.
It's 3.
La 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 dee la 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 la.
Ugh. I
Eh,
only play
Yeah.
engineer.
you do. Look, buddy.
Uh,
I'm an engineer.
Look, buddy, I'm an engineer.
That means I solve problems. Not philosophical problems like what is beauty.
I exist to ruin everybody else's time.
Alright. Now. I know
That
the
sounds
question
just
we're
like you,
all
Tyler.
thinking.
will it blend?
Yeah.
Will it?
Uh,
will it play?
What?
Wait, you said the question we've all been thinking. Is that not it?
What was your question?
Will it blend?
I'm not sure. But, I know the question we're all thinking of. When are we gonna do Overwatch?
Oh fuck! Right off. Never.
Fuck off.
I will play
Look.
Bookworm Adventures Deluxe
I don't know what
before
I don't want to play any Blizzard
Why
game.
Everyone here is just like, no.
I don't want to play any Blizzard game out of principle,
Oh, wait.
unless if it's like an old one from the 90s, because
It's
just,
over here.
dude,
There's no
fucking
background.
post 2010 Blizzard just fell off hard. Activision bought them and it was,
Everything just fell off hard.
dude,
There's
fucking,
Tara, watch
what,
it.
everything past 2010 just is terrible.
Yeah. I think I
Big
probably
fuck.
shot somebody in
Kill
the
the
back of the
bug.
head, but that's fine. It's no
Dude,
big
I
deal.
wish I could play, like, you know, do you remember the Transformers games for the PS3 and the Xbox 360?
Yes.
Do you
I
play
pl-
Wars for the PS2?
I do actually. I played those a shit ton when I was a kid because I mean I was really into Transformers and just in general the games are really good. Like High Moon did a phenomenal job and I really wish you could still play them.
Shotgun. I've been driving shotgun. That's not what is this? Is it a flare?
Ah, ooh.
Huh?
Yes.
Oh yeah, that's a flare gun.
Come here.
shoots a
Oh.
big
Mew.
flare.
My ass
Molly!
still shoots with a flare gun. Molly!
It does a bit of damage, but like not actually that much.
Get your tin ass over here.
Please stop teaching the loot bugs how to whip and nay, or else this mission is going to take an eternity. Get back to work.
Get back to work.
Fucking. Whoa.
Ah, big boy gun.
I have a question. What does shield mode do again for chat?
Who the fuck knows? Oh wait, no, yeah.
It stops... Who the fuck knows?
I remember.
It blocks profanity and shit like that.
Yeah, shield mode basically is like alarms are blaring, lock down the hatch kind of thing. Like if you get raided by bots and there's like high activity and shit like that, you put on shield mode.
It'll shush. Hey, Pearl. Am I already losing
Will
my
it
voice?
Nene?
I barely talk. Will it Nene?
Will it Nene? Croft and we'll chat with a Will it Nene.
Guys in the chat. Make this thing Nene.
I can't carry any more
Where's my
nitro.
loot bug nay mod? Also, I think there might be a bulk.
Oh, you're my little loot bug.
What are you?
My nitro is full.
Where's the thingy?
Where's
I found
Molly?
a
Oh, look at
volleyball.
the Morkai!
Coming over.
Who keeps Molly more? Molly.
I found a
Stop moving, Molly.
volleyball. Let's put in the loot grinder.
Who the fuck's?
That one video of him just going.
The one that
Oh,
was
shit
like,
in
"Man,
hell.
Stop moving, Molly. I'm
Yeah.
trying to put my shit in Molly.
Hey, do you guys hear something fucking loud?
Yeah,
Uh,
it's coming.
Wait.
Oh
Other
my.
priorities, being
Fucking,
shot is
shit in hell.
Ow,
Giant-
fuck.
I think I found where it is. Yeah, you're a warden with a.
Will it loot?
Will it loot?
Will it
Will
loot?
it loot? Will it
Every person who plays Deep Rock looking at a bug, will it loot?
Oh, will it loot? Will it?
Can you drill some here time? Or this, Lena?
Where?
I'm not a driller. Gun.
I am not a driller.
Sweetie.
Gun.
Doing great, sweetie. Thank you.
Where am I?
I
Where am
tried
I?
to add
Where
this.
am I? What am I doing?
Drill
This
through that
way.
wall. You know how to open up the map, right, both of you?
No. How do I drill?
I thought it would be
3 is your drills.
Move the fuck out the way then.
Yeah, and the map
Move.
is tabbed.
Move out the, move it. Yeah,
Ah.
Am I just going forward with this?
I know you.
So
Yeah,
you're
now we're in a
looking
new
at the
cave.
cave and you're feeling
Feeling
kind
kind
of
of right?
Hey, do you want a snack?
Don't snap.
You want a snack?
What the fuck?
Did you shoot? Did you fucking shoot them?
I'm just gonna say I'm the kind of person to just have like a sash of catnip in a bag, because you know.
Was it my?
Real.
Awesome.
Well, I mean, I'm just gonna say you don't want to know what happens when you put foxes on catnip, but it's a really fun time for me at least.
Oh, I don't like the dramatic music. It doesn't make me
Yeah,
feel
there's a
comfortable.
swarm coming in.
I
Oh,
don't
hey,
feel
I found the
comfortable with the
crosses.
energy we've created in the studio.
Oh dear. Oh no.
Hey, guys, there's a fucking crosses.
Lomax.
Bolt detonator. So, you guys know what a bolt detonator is?
Fucking hell.
I think I'm dead.
So,
Oh, I mean, I'm alive.
don't-
Oh, no, man.
there's no good way to say this, but when this thing dies, it is going to explode, kill everything in the area, and then turn the surrounding terrain into gold.
You know what? Yeah, you'll have that one.
You know,
It's extremely rare, and also I don't think my shields can stop them. Get up,
Oh, wow,
Tyler.
you're
We're
reviving
running
me.
out of
Thank
time.
you.
Yeah, just stay away from that thing, or else it does.
Oh.
Wow.
Wow.
No, wait, that was the normal.
nope.
Oh my
Still
god.
alive.
Oh
might die.
wow. Well, 3 out of 4 of us are dead.
I just got
That
out.
was
I
fast.
just got up. I just stood up, and then I was out.
Where even is it? Oh, it's there.
It's on us.
Are we all dead? Oh no. Val's still alive.
It's just me who's up.
Bell's alive.
Why do you not have fast build on your turrets?
2 of them.
That's the exact reason you should have fast build.
I don't
Oh
remember.
shit.
Uh-oh.
I'm alive. Get
Some
out. Get
somehow.
out.
Oh.
I'm not alive for much longer. It's been real.
I'm cracking my fingers. I'm sorry if that is picking up on the mic.
No,
Well,
you're good.
you gave me a
Compressor.
yeah.
Ooh.
We slowly melt you.
I mean, yeah, it does look like a world destroyer.
This motherfucker.
No, it looks like a pretty peaceful guy. I don't know what you're on about.
Yeah, yeah, I
He's
can.
just a friend.
Yeah, he just woke up. He just woke up a bit cranky. That's the only problem.
Crassus actually translates to friend.
Can we call him Leroy?
Why do you want to call everything
Fine,
Leroy?
He's Leroy. He's Leroy. He's also dead. Check it.
Oh, that sounds about, right for Leroy. Oh wow.
Yeah, when he
I'd-
dies, it's a
I'd,
giant
Full deck
explosion.
of detonators.
Oh wow, I'm in the floor.
It's a giant explosion that turns everything around it to
Dude,
gold.
is this
Yeah, Crassus.
Oh, I can't carry any more gold. That's not fair.
Dump it in the mule.
The mule, so don't worry.
Molly.
Yeah, and it's C to call the mule over. You need to.
Do you know that gold happens when you did like destroy a star? Apparently.
Most things happen when you destroy a star. That is cool.
They cry too. You should not destroy stars. Where's Molly?
What if I get hungry?
I don't think most people can just regularly do that.
I mean, why do you think?
I'm
Why do you?
Tyler.
Why do you
special.
think
I'm
Star
gonna
Destroyers
eat the
exist?
star.
Hi,
What
Jay.
if I get hungry, Tyler?
We have another person in the chat.
Nibble on that.
So
Oh.
so
Please.
Jay, this is
No.
to my left. We have Toxic Tabby, we have Tyler, and we have Val.
I'm not gonna say the thing I said earlier because I think that violates Switch TOS.
Probably. Let me do.
You can't eat the stars.
Why?
It might.
Let me
it
do
probably
shout outs
kill you.
for the two that actually do want shout
You
outs.
should probably, put a platform on the market.
There we go. You should totally follow those both because they are amazing, and Tyler in particular is a really good artist.
Thank you.
Eventually, I will actually set up my Twitch stuff.
Eventually, we will do. Ah, fucking hell!
As soon as this is
Bug.
over. Ah, what the fuck? As soon as I stop getting thrown around for more than 2 seconds.
Fucking Christ Almighty, Jesus Christ! Everything's gone tits up.
Voice acting. But
Yes,
I'll
yes,
take
you
the
should.
time to say, I am a voice actor.
Are you? You do voice acting,
Yeah.
dude?
Yeah.
You not seen the shit talks?
No, I haven't actually. To be fair.
That is how-
Eh. Do parkour.
You know, you missed it,
Wait.
Jay. We were playing Prop Hunt for like a solid hour before this.
Parkour is good.
It was so fun.
It's really good
I'm
game
just
mode.
quite
Keep
useful.
up on, yeah. Okay, I think we finished. Yeah, we finished the main objective. Do you guys want to finish digging out all this gold?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, why not?
Hell yeah.
So how's your day been going, Jay?
Has anybody made a remix out of the fucking mining sound up here?
I know, right? Why is it so
Yeah.
fucking rhythmic? They,
Why does it
you know what?
slap? It kind of goes hard.
I'm opening up FL Studio. I'm doing it
Oh.
right now. Cover me.
Hold on.
Wait, where's Molly?
Terrain scanner.
Nice.
I'm gonna deal with this. You guys do that.
Oh, right there.
Oh wait, shit. What's happening?
See, Jay, I have the same thing when I go into Peaches' server. Whenever I
That's like
say,
a
whenever I say hello or
Yeah,
good
so-
morning, it will autocorrect into people's names in the server.
I'm gonna go do that now, actually. Might as well, you know.
Yep. Lots and lots of gold. Hey, how much do you reckon we're gonna make out of this?
Couple thousand?
I can't wait to get overpaid for the work that I didn't do.
Oh no, we're
I'll go home, eat some Takis, working on a secret thing that's almost ready. Oh, is it that secret thing? Is it that secret thing that I definitely know about?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
It's that thing. It is, dude. It's so fucking cool. Like, right, guys, you should go and
Will it
follow.
pay?
Dude, you should go and follow. Well, I mean, it'll pay them. You should go and follow Jay.
Real.
Seriously,
Mm.
they've got some really cool stuff in the works soon. I'll
Well,
show
good.
I'll show you guys their Twitch once like we're done here.
Yeah, after the stream.
Yes.
Okay.
They don't stream very often, as far as I'm aware, but when they do, it is fun.
Lenathina, use your C4.
Uh,
I love bombs.
Okay. Oh wait, you can't disarm those yet. Yeah, you're just gonna have to explode that.
You will have that on them big jumps. I'm just gonna
Oh
float
no,
flying
you
by them.
just
That's
select
not
the C.
That's
You
a
just
good.
select
My
the
bad.
C4 again, and then yeah.
My bad.
oh,
Oh,
whoops.
it's right here.
I pressed grenade instead of flashlight. My
Well,
flashlight.
you have emotes that spell out J. That's cool.
I'm calling the resupply pod in. Feel free to take one. Also, Toxic just found a cosmetic. I'm gonna grab that.
Did they really?
Yeah.
It's all the way back at the start.
Fuck. Oh, whoa. Oh, resupply.
Oh yeah, it's an ammo resupply. It'll give you half your ammo back if you take one.
Half of the
Let's
emotes
try
are
and save
emotes,
them.
They're all on the ceiling. I can't get on the ceiling.
Dig around. You know what? I'm gonna help them out before I grab my cosmetics.
I think we're about to get bamboozled.
Yeah, Swarm's coming in.
If you will.
Beautiful. and I'm going to stand here and do absolutely nothing.
Fucking hell. Shit.
Oh, I'm just
I
gonna
would
not
not say
remember to
doing
reload.
absolutely nothing is good for your prolonged survival.
Dude,
Sorry.
I can't wait until I get to a fill, and then I can have, like, all the really cool emotes.
I'm unsure on what things I can say about prolonged survival, so I'll keep it at a minimum. Ow, it didn't shoot me.
Calm down, Tyler. We're live.
I swear like a sailor on my streams, it's fine.
Gotta start selling
Yeah,
I just
no,
got
fuck you.
flung by Rolly.
Freeman.
Yeah, the roly poly.
Yo,
Burn them all!
go ahead in.
They're so cute.
No, not yet.
I love it.
I am gonna
They're
have
so
rocket
fucking
emotes.
annoying,
Dude,
I hate them.
fucking... I'm gonna get Tyler to do some for me.
More money.
I make all of my emotes because I get bored.
Understandable.
Make more.
I have made 3 in like a past day or so. I'm on the 4th.
I did pay you for some a while ago, but I can't remember.
Yeah,
Like, yeah.
I'm working on them. They're in the background. Don't you worry. I've been working on the
really?
new style for them.
All right, yeah. Ow.
They're so goofy, I love them.
I mean, I've been trying to just make my.
Oh, your last semester.
emotes.
Good job, Max. And I'm almost dead. I should probably run away.
Sorry, Croft, I didn't see your comment. Me when I extract the command, it gives me $5 to dare you. Yeah.
I'm almost dead. Like, seriously, I have...
Don't die.
You'll be fine. Find some
feel
red
like
sugar.
really-
You'll be fine.
red. Where is the red sugar?
It's a little glowing red crystal that grows kind of like a.
I mean, I know what it looks like, but I'm like, does anyone know where any is?
No.
I think there's some a bit up. Oh shit!
Oh wait, we
One
lost.
door.
You can revive me. There's infinite revives.
I mean, it could. That's really nice. Which
I mean, I can kind of really good progress on my Ice
like-
Crown Citadel built in Peaches' Minecraft server. Ooh.
Oh,
I've been
shit,
considering building some more stuff in Peaches' MC server, but I really don't know any ideas. I don't have any ideas yet, and I want to build something when I have like a dead set. Oh, I'm gonna do this sort of thing. You know what I mean?
It has been deposited. Right.
Deposited.
What do we want to do?
Can I chuck this actual charge on the roof and then get all the gold from the top?
Yeah, I'm digging a tunnel up to the roof of this place. Hi.
Hi. How do I
Can't
get
switch
from
over.
there?
I knocked myself out.
Ah.
Like right here.
There's too much
Yeah, no,
fucking. I was gonna say there's too much fucking dust, man. I can't see.
Yeah.
I
I'll build
knocked
this up a bit.
myself out.
Hold on, how do
We noticed.
I teabag you?
You're doing
I
fine,
think I
Tyler.
can.
There's no
Don't
crouching in
teabag
this
me.
game.
Jay, have you been on
Yeah.
Peaches' Minecraft server yet?
Oh.
This
Okay,
is
we-
bullying.
Right,
We
that's
live in
that's
a-
my.
Molly, Molly.
I'm just gonna fall down the hole, and I'm gonna. Okay,
Ooh.
that's great.
Did
Oh,
happen.
damn it.
I live in a low income housing
Blow it up.
environment.
Environment that goes by the government name of Section 8.
Section eight.
Very cool.
Thank you. I just need to stop jumping.
Maybe,
on that.
like,
we already have
Tyler, once all your
We do
like,
have a lot of-
when all your D&D campaigns wrap up and such, we should all do a thing together. So all the
That's
good
so
groups playing. I don't have room on my laptop to download more games. Fair enough. What are you playing in your Baldur's Gate campaign, Jay?
Oh, is that where we need to go? I've just been kind of like a little bit confused.
Oh, no, fine.
They've been trying to. They've been
Never
trying to
mind.
hollow it out.
Okay, fair enough.
We can just go. We can hit the button on the back of Molly and that'll
But there's
like...
more gold.
We have so much gold. We have 800.
Gold.
That's not
The
enough.
Tyler Christmas
Yeah.
special. We should have Christmas in June. I like the idea of Christmas in
Bet.
June.
Just go to Australia.
Yo, we can have like summer ween like from Gravity.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Fucking Gravity Falls was great. I love that show. Dark Urge Drown Lady, trying very hard not to be evil. It's difficult. I'm a monk because I like to punch things a lot and kill stuff with my bare hands.
Hello.
It's like a TV show that only shows during spring or fall, for real.
Craft, if you're still in a
Uh-oh.
Tyler's chat, you're small.
Wow.
Bullying.
See, as far as I've only really played paladins in Baldur's Gate so far, apart from that one time I played as a warlock. But
Aww.
I want to play as a cleric at some point.
What do you think of the new emotes, Craft? Do you
Some
like
work
them?
phone calls. Okay, have fun, clarinets.
Bye.
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 I say have fun. Work phone calls probably aren't very fun. And good job, Tyler. Fantastic performance right there.
This is why you're the grit.
You know something? I think this is probably the second time in all of our lifetime that I've actually had to get up off the floor.
For me to make it a
Wow.
4th? Give me a minute.
Oh, God.
Hey, look, if it's you picking me up off the ground, it's quite a few times because you wiped the floor with me.
Yeah, I'm really bad with parkour and just spatial awareness in general, so any game like this I just tend to fool. My record on the high pixel parkour is 45 minutes.
Fair enough. I mean, I'm probably not much better.
Damn, next stream on Hypixel.
It's been 45 minutes trying to get through the parkour, and it's a try not to rage stream.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay, well this is happening.
she took you.
Right, okay, we don't talk about
guess so.
my multi on Risk of Rain 2, alright? I struggle in general. Multi is also just hard to parkour with, so I'm like, I don't
We're
know.
playing Risk of Rain next, immediately.
Immediate. Dude, I have work tomorrow. I can't do that shit.
Oh yeah, I know, that's a joke.
Oh,
And then when we are done with this, we can do the bean Adam thingy.
Yes.
yes.
I'm gonna set up
We're
my
gonna do D&D shit for
VTuber model as well, because now I've got that. I need to work out how that works.
Good
Dude,
luck.
it's so fucking
Actually
pretty.
know how that works. Thank you.
Can I show it to Jay?
I love yeah, if you'd like. Make sure to credit my artist, though. I'll give her Twitch. I'll give her Twitter to you.
Oh, well, okay, well, that's the second time I've done that now.
She baby. Love it. Well, I could, you know. I could just do nothing really. Oh no, I fell down the hole. Never mind. I was gonna try and walk away, and then I fell down the hole. There you go.
Nice one.
I don't know why he sounded like Jeff from Molly McGee for a second. That was great.
What the fuck?
It's such a good TV show. I'm so glad we
It
watched
was
that.
very good.
It is good.
For anyone who can hear me, The Ghost in Molly McGee was a great show.
It was good.
Never actually seen it before. Or heard of it for that matter, actually.
The
It's
ending
on Disney
was-
Plus.
Is it?
Yep,
Fair enough.
Yeah,
Disney
it's
Plus.
really good.
Oh shit, there's the
Rare
horn.
Situation,
I've been tempted because I've been
Pirated.
like I said I've been playing fucking Star Wars
I don't
Jedi
think I'm allowed
Survivor.
to advocate piracy on Twitch.
No, did
Non-piracy.
ow.
Do not pirate.
The song you sent was a vibe. I'm glad you like it. I listened to that.
Bug!
Bug?
I'm just
Uh-oh.
gonna say
Bug.
A couple of bugs. Bug.
Bug.
I'm screwed if I run out of
Do you need
Right,
another
I'm
we
a-
restart?
stream now. I can't just sing random songs.
Yeah, we gotta
Yeah.
worry about copyright, this bitch.
Yeah,
How
I'd
many seconds of leeway do I have?
5.
3.
5? I'm glad
It's
you
a
know that
five
off the top of your head.
Ah, Jesus Christ.
Chaos!
Fucking Christ on a
Oh
bike.
my
This
God.
whole thing is gone fucking.
Fuck.
It's all gone to shit.
What hazard is this?
4?
Wait,
no,
this
just
is
kidding.
has.
It's 3, I think.
This is only has 3.
Oh, and I'm fucked. Well, okay.
Oh wait, I think I accidentally shot Lennon.
Cheers, Val.
Do you want me to do it
Sounds
again?
alright.
No, don't.
What do you mean?
Do it again!
Me to do it again. Oh, never mind.
We're already in pain.
I feel like we should leave.
I just
I
called in a
know.
resupply.
Take a look
Yeah,
at
we
my
should probably
enormous-
leave soon. I think we got most of the gold.
I think we're
Yeah, we
pushing
got
our
the-
luck.
we got the
if
gold,
stay
it's
here for
fine.
longer.
Yeah.
Give the goblin some gold!
We can also
Don't kill me, I'm so small.
fine.
Please no kill me. I am very small.
Have we called in the ship?
Yes.
Not yet.
But yeah, Craft, I'm glad you like the song that I
I'm
sent
calling
you.
in the drop pod. Everyone ready?
I can't play that one on stream for legal reasons.
Yep.
Alright, we're calling in the
No,
drop pod. I hope you guys are ready to go home.
Hello, I am normal.
I
Dum-
am housing
Sorry,
environment.
stretching.
Alright, you gotta go off the way.
One of you's just like the fucking Kool-Aid man, just like, oh yeah.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
normal and you're watching Disney Channel.
My name's
You're
Tyler, I'm
watching
watching
Disney
Channel.
XD.
Disney XD just slaps so much fucking harder.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
I'm so sad they killed it off, man. They were like, oh yeah, you'll find everything. They were like, oh yeah, you'll find everything on Disney Plus, and it's like,
Why am I
okay,
struggling?
you know.
'Cause you're bad.
When I said I can't do parkour, I meant.
Does anyone remember Jetix?
Leave me behind.
No.
No.
I remember Hey Jesse though.
Will it Disney?
So Jetix was what came before Disney XD. It was like they used to do.
About the cosmetic.
They used to do.
About me.
What do you mean? Don't forget about the
It's just-
cosmetic. It's a fucking cosmetic. I'd rather not die.
It's free
Totally
shit.
worth it. Yeah, it's free Shavaka, dude.
Free Shavaka, dude. How do
Shut
you
up.
go faster? How do you go faster?
If you hit shift, you sprint.
I'm pressing you, Shiv. Y'all have left me behind with the monsters, with my demons.
Wow, you're really far behind, yeah.
I am
Hey,
really
you know
far
you can
behind.
use your grappling hook, right?
Yeah, I know, but I
Your
meant it when I
mobility
said
option,
I'm not
you could
good
use your
at
mobility option. It's
at,
good for you.
I hope you can feel my
Tyler
eye
can have
roll
a little
where
bit
you
of
are.
mobility. as a
If it makes you feel any better, Tyler, I could feel it.
Good. I can
I
have a
can
little
feel
bit of death as a treat. I'm stuck on a roly-poly. Oh no.
Yeah, they suck.
That's a good dessert, that.
Bullies are the worst.
My roly-poly. Yeah.
Jam roly poly and custard. Oh man.
Whee!
Slide on this. Oh,
Grab the cosmetic, it's right here.
I can't see anything.
I can't
Shut
see
up.
shit.
Where's the cosmetic?
There's fire everywhere.
Hole in the wall over here.
What?
we're allowed.
What this?
Take the bag.
Wiggity, wiggity,
Yeah,
what's
it's
up,
a
bro?
pickaxe part, I think.
Call hound.
Hey guys, we need to go.
I'm coming.
There's
Uh,
a fucking big bug.
Oh shit.
I got you.
hello. Is that Thrifty Tokens? My
Another
chat is
one.
cut off with the thing that I've got. Ahoy there.
Ahoy.
Burn all the bugs.
I have a predicament.
I just need to check that I got that right. It is Thrifty Tokens. Welcome in.
Good job, good job. You made
Shit,
it. You were able to
shit, shit, shit,
parkour. Last one alive. Lock the door. Go.
We got
Go.
this.
Just
Come
go.
on, come on, come on.
Go.
I gotta deposit
What are you
my
doing,
minerals.
you fatty? Run.
Why are you making fun of me? My minerals.
My minerals. He just runs in with a sack full of rock salt. Ooh, I got an achievement.
My minerals, my rocks and materials. The fucking sound.
I got another achievement.
These minerals got some kick.
Oh my god. Lennox leveled up 3 times.
Good job.
Hey, I killed all the bugs.
There we
You did most, if not all
We
of the
got
work.
4 grand in gold.
4 grand in gold. Wow.
Yeah.
We're so
Hey
reliant.
hey guys, you know what we should do?
What?
We should play another round of prop hunt to celebrate.
We've done one mission, now we have to play 4 rounds of
Prop
go.
hunt,
We have
yeah.
4 rounds of prop hunt. That's how it works.
Just as the founding fathers intended or something.
let's go. Let's do it. Let's do a round of prop hunt before we leave.
Fuck it, sure. I'm down. All of this is going on my tag.
Yeah. Who wants to be the unlucky bastard that has to go and find everybody?
Oh, not me. Would take 3 years. to find
I'm
the-
bringing out my dice. Everyone pick a number between 1 and 4.
1 and 4.
Oh,
2.
mine's 8.
2.
I'll
I
have
picked
one then.
1.
Oh, I'll have 4 then.
I'll pick 4. No, you get 1. You deserve 1.
You deserve one.
You got robbed already. You get 1. So Tyler's 1. Toxic is no wait. Lyneth is 2.
Yep.
Okay. And then Toxic is 3 and I'm 4. All right.
See what happens.
3. All right.
What the fuck?
Calm down, son. It's just prop hunt. There's
Wow.
no need to-
Oh yeah, I should say for the new person for thrifty tokens, we have obviously myself as Lyneth. We have Tyler up on my head. We have
Hi.
Toxic Tabby to the left of me, and we have Val to the right of me.
I don't have any like tuber or alias thing yet.
Mm-hmm.
I'm working
We're
on it.
working on it.
Working on it. We'll get you. We'll get you there eventually. Okay.
Alright, I'm gonna go.
In the next 2 to 3 business days. Ready for-
Today's business
I
day.
have to be in the corner.
Right.
Alright, we
When
don't have hover boots, so that should make this more
Alright,
interesting.
10,
Oh, we don't have hover
9,
boots.
Yeah.
no hover boots. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3,
What the fuck?
2, 1.
Ah, shit.
Damn.
it's not fucking fair, that is it?
No, I counted 10 seconds. Yo ass was still moving.
Dude, you just fucking wow.
You were right there. I
What?
counted 10
What was I
seconds.
supposed to do? Huh?
And not come to where I was. Silly.
Nope.
Objects, the lunch
Secret chat.
Yeah, totally secret. Totally fucking secret.
team. Yeah, it's very secret. We can't see it.
I thought for a second there it said.
Why is it so
I thought for a second there this statue said we fight, we mine for fucking stone. That's what I thought it said.
Almost, but not quite.
Yeah, almost there.
Dwarves.
Hello.
Alright, who's getting the jet boots?
No.
I'm not getting it. Shit, that should work for him.
The mission control line also did.
Yeah, it revealed to us.
Hi there.
Hello again.
Good evening.
I just want y'all to know I got exposed twice. I couldn't fit through the door. That's why they said that there was something stuck in the fucking thing.
Fuck, you're too tall, Tyler. You're like 8 foot tall. You just bumped your head in the ceiling.
I got stuck and I couldn't go into a room and I got.
Yeah, your horns just got caught in the ceiling. That's all.
He is too damn
Exactly.
big.
Too damn big. Wait, I can't tell if I'm hot or if I'm cold.
Fatty.
Wow.
cow.
Dear cow. Dear cow.
Dear cow. Dear cow. Thing.
Dear cow.
Hi.
Long live the
Nothing.
Dear cow, they then.
Hey, you're not supposed to have those.
I mean,
Trying to
What,
be
a
fair.
deer cow?
No.
It's not.
I kind of just instinctively grabbed them. I'll be honest, but it's fine. Don't worry about it.
Oh, wow, that's called cheating.
Well, look, I just want to use them. All right, makes you feel better.
It's not cheating.
Where?
You unequip them by going to the box again.
Can you? All right. Well,
Yeah,
well, okay. Can I?
Yeah, if you go to the box, you can just hold E on it again to unequip them.
Is this gonna kill me? No, it isn't. Good.
Yeah, you can hide the suit.
I really want to
Hide the s- hide- hide-
That's all leverage.
Hide the soup.
Which one?
Anyone? I think it's called Anyone But You.
Don't know the movie.
It's new.
I just looked at that and I was like, I
I
just,
didn't even see that. He like walked up to me.
I don't know. I was gravitated to your presence. I was like, I wonder what this is. No, because no, right. So
There you go.
Val, the thing that got me was, wow, that's a really good hiding spot. So
Yeah, that's it. Fair enough.
Toxic, do you remember the room with the disco ball?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was the little like toolbox.
Oh, man.
Oh, hi, Hayden. It's been a minute.
hi, Hayden.
That's the stream,
I
actually.
wonder if Tyler would do it again. No.
I checked, but it's good to check anyway.
Yeah. Well, fuck you,
Yeah.
Lulu.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Oh. I can't be asked.
Y'all are shit at this, no offense.
Bruh.
Fuck you.
Dude, you were fucking walking around for like 10 minutes when you were the
You
hunter.
can be next because you're gonna win.
Just a hee 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 hee.
Sounds like Tattletale.
California cows. My flatmate is playing it on that speaker downstairs so that we can hear in the
Lovely.
I like how Tyler's lore, she's like really, really fucking dark and brooding, and then we do this stream, and they're just like fucking.
completely opposite.
Yeah.
Like Tattletale.
With like California, I mean like the array of different like willets on stickers, and I just want to put them around my room, and I want Willet California. As
What
like,
was the thing that, like, what was your description of the pair of us that I thought was really funny? It was something like with you it was looks like a cinnamon roll will actually kill you, and then for me it was looks like they'll kill you but it's actually a cinnamon roll.
Yeah. California
Synonym
girls.
roll.
Synonym.
Love
Who
synonyms.
doesn't love synonym rolls?
Did you
Welcome
call me a
back.
Nokia?
Welcome back, Jay. Apparently Tyler's a Nokia.
I said Tyler isn't up here.
Oh, I thought you said a Nokia.
Hello there.
That's really confusing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Jay, to catch you up, we won. We got a shit ton of money for gold, and now we're playing prop hunt. Badly. Fuck.
I'm dancing.
We are
to
not doing
California.
good. Dude, it's actually really hard.
Tyler's the last person left, though.
Yeah.
Tyler, why are you so good at hiding? No, that couldn't no. I couldn't have timed that. I couldn't have timed that any better. I could not have timed that any better. I swear to.
My apologies. I can't really tell him to shut up. But,
My apologies.
I love that.
My
I'm
apologies.
fucking, Tyler, why are you so good at hiding?
stood in
Nonchalantly
corner as a
fucking.
cabinet.
I didn't fucking see it.
I just love that. It's like,
Someone
oh,
asked me at one point.
it's like, oh, you know, Tyler, why are you so good at hiding? Nonchalantly throws a ball and accidentally finds them.
It's time for Tyler to be a little stinky searcher.
I don't want to be the searcher.
Well, you won
Do
though.
this. Can we-
Technically, if you think,
How good you are at it.
yeah,
terrible at
yeah,
it,
I
that's why I
like,
don't
yeah, right, yeah. So we're all, we're all shit then, and you're also shit. So then, what
Yeah.
does that make it? Huh?
better than
Shit's
you.
great.
Nah.
Shit squad.
Alright. Tyler, it's time.
Alright,
Grab
see
your
you
bed.
later, Craft. Sleep well, love.
My crab.
Night Umphy.
Night, Umphy.
Night
I
Umphy.
thought I heard you say night woomfy. I was gonna cry.
That's the worst shit I've ever heard.
Yeah, you should not do that. Right.
Saying shit like that should affect your credit score.
I don't have one.
It should put you in debt.
Right. When are we starting? When are we
Turn
starting?
Turn around, Tyler, it's time.
Turn around and drink your
Please.
drink.
Okay. It's 20. 19. 18. 17.
Oh, you're fucking.
16.
Are you kidding me?
15, 13. 12. 11. 10. 9. 8. 7. 6. 5. 4. 3. 2. 1. Fuck all it. Right. Where you bitches at?
Damn. Last 2 seconds. You're like, 3, 2, 1.
You do win.
Wow.
You win.
You do win.
Singular chicken nugget.
Singular chicken nugget.
Singular chicken nugget.
One
Rated.
deviled egg.
One deviled egg. A
We'll
deviled
say-
egg's
Wait, I
actually
see you.
good.
I see you.
You see, why are you so excited about that?
I don't know. I
Not
mean,
you.
have you tried those? Have you tried those eggs that they have in like? Have you tried those eggs that they have in like tonkatsu, where it's like soft boils in the middle, and it's like marinated in soy sauce.
That sounds good though.
It does, dude. Next time we go and meet up as a group, we should go to a ramen bar. I want to try that.
We should. There's one in Manchester.
But
right
you.
now.
Damn. Can't believe you're all the way over there.
I am a genius.
Wait,
I thought you were gonna say
you.
I am a dwarf.
Technically, that's factually incorrect right now.
We live in a fucking society.
Yeah, we do.
Why are you
That's.
gulping? Why are you gulping?
Stress.
Proceeds to be found first. Fucking Orbex, don't you? Do not jinx.
That just belongs there? Why does that just belong there?
It does just belong there.
This is bullshit.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it?
No.
Don't worry, my hiding spot sucks.
I'm sure it does.
Hey Tyler, where are you?
Where are you? I'm having fun kicking barrels about.
You're supposed to be
trying to
finding
make
us.
sure that I'm
You're
not
supposed to.
I got sidetracked.
Just give Tyler a barrel,
too
and,
many
and that's
options.
all. That's all they need for entertainment.
Real.
Like a hamster.
Oh,
Hamster.
I jet lagged into it.
Hamster,
Hamster.
hamster,
Hamster.
hamster.
Oh, so that's where these bitches belong.
Mm.
Mm.
Wingardium Leviosa. Stop it, Ron. Stop.
So,
Ronald Weasley. It's Leviosa.
this isn't looking too hot for me. I cannot lie to you.
Wait, can you guys hear it when I'm properly asleep?
Yeah.
I can hear it.
I see all the things.
No, you are.
You
No.
know, it looks out of
Hey,
the order.
hey, get
No,
away
you-
from me.
No, you don't.
Hey,
No, you don't.
stop it. Stop it.
Look,
Listen,
there's
because
look,
I look-
That was
look.
you.
There's many
Just
places.
because I look porcelain and drinkable doesn't mean you could just throw something at me.
You're so mean.
Okay, but seriously, get away from me.
Oh.
I know somebody's here. Because it's
Well,
like,
get away.
stop it.
Get
Cancel
away.
it.
Just because I'm looking very comfortable and suitable, okay?
I
Just
know
leave me
you
alone.
are.
You're looking at the
But what
D5
about the
camera?
other
Oh,
chair?
dude, I'm so bad at these games because
This chair belongs here.
I'm sat here fucking
What about
giggling
that
like a
barrel
moron.
right there?
What barrel right where?
Can you
What
kick,
about those
like,
two chairs up there? Was there always two?
You can't kick. You cannot kick player barrels.
Nice.
Yeah,
Bye.
there's like an actual way of finding out if someone were, I don't know, a barrel.
Stop it, man! You'll give me away.
I don't even know where you are.
That's the idea.
didn't gaslight you guys last time. Why are you gaslighting me?
Because you said we were all shit.
You called us shit.
Yeah, you made
She
fun of
walked
us.
past me 4 times, and I was just like a fridge in the open plain.
But I love how I just sort of tossed a ball, not expecting anything to happen, and then just a pop. And it's like, oh, I see.
Wait, I see you, toxic.
No one's ever gonna find me. I see everybody.
I can see
Oh, this is
50%
a mean
of the
spot.
space.
This is
Wait, is
really
that you?
mean. Probably not.
I think I saw
Oh,
it.
never mind. Never mind. I.
Stop it. We live in a fucking
Oh,
society.
hey, someone got jet boots.
Yeah,
Someone
I
got-
get boots.
Oh,
I
you
think
have
they
jet
jet
boots
deserve it.
before
They're
that.
struggling pretty hard. I
haven't.
think they deserve it.
I don't deserve it because I'm struggling. I deserve it because y'all bitches.
Wow. I see. I see how it is.
I see how it is.
You
So
shits
the
he had
big
us.
cow there then thinks they so cool.
Wow.
I do. I really do.
Wow.
You think you're so fucking cool, Tyler.
To be fair, I've been on the receiving end of what they can do. You do not want to piss them off. I'm just going to say that.
I think
I had-
that
sorry, I
game
had a
tells me
Tetris
everything
moment.
I need to be afraid of. Nothing.
You say that. You haven't seen them mad.
Hee.
Give him
Oh,
5
that's so
minutes.
cute.
Listen, Nermal wouldn't care. Just think about that.
That's true.
Sorry, I'm
Always
getting a
Okay,
little
this hiding spot is not
sidetracked.
fair, actually.
Y'all are not being fair to me. I'm just saying.
I have not.
Can we
I have
end
not
the
moved
hiding
that far from spawn, and I've been here the entire fucking time. I've just
I
been
don't even
sat.
know what counts as soup.
The thruster at the top of the drop pod.
Why are you
Yeah,
up there?
I haven't been in there in general.
I went there for like 5 seconds and then just realized, oh wait, you can't see barrels in there.
I just kind of just sort of stuck myself here, and I've
So
just,
mean.
you know,
I'm just chilling.
dude, I have not moved.
Literally
I have not
having
moved at all.
vibration, I think, and doing nothing.
I'm so green and tasty looking.
I don't think I look tasty. I mean, I definitely look comfortable. I think.
Wait, I think I know what you are. Oh, I see toxic.
The fuck is he doing?
Get
Then?
away!
What's he doing?
The fucking hanger.
What the fuck? Oh, you know what? Fuck. I'm gonna make things interesting. Let's see what happens. YOLO.
Oh my
You can't
God.
take my
I
hiding
see
space.
you.
Run! No!
Oh, you went, Leonard.
All left. One all left.
I saw someone fucking book it past me. What the fuck? Wait, was that you?
That's probably me.
It's probably toxic.
Who's the tank?
Yeah, that's
Me.
toxic.
That's
I just heard fucking Tyler be like, yeah, I was just like, I just heard Tyler go, I just hear Tyler go, no, and then I hear you maniacally giggling, and I see a fucking septic tank galloping down the hallway.
You gotta choose wisely, you might lose.
Do you know what? I'm a nice person. Where are you? I'll help you out.
Fuck! No! No! Get over here, Leonard.
He went that way.
I girl boss too close to the sun.
By the way, Tyler, I was in my spawn room as a jacket for most of that.
Yeah, I thought you would be pulling that shit. I had
And
to
yet,
the only room I didn't check, actually.
And
every
yeah,
room.
I was stood right here as a jacket facing the front door the entire
That's the only
time.
room I didn't check. And I just saw Val.
And right, so when I was like, oh, you know, fuck it, YOLO. So I ran out of the room. I ran down here through this, right? And you were like,
forget that exists as well.
and you were like, no, and I'm here as this jacket, and I just see Toxic galloping down the hall.
Where did Toxic go?
I was not found first. No, I was found third. I let myself be discovered because I kind of felt bad.
What you laughing at?
The sort of I heard the dial-up noises in Tyler's brain. You must have hit the wall.
Did hit the wall, yeah.
Yeah, they did it.
Yeah.
Well. Alright, who's next? Do I really have to go next?
Yeah.
Do you really?
Do I?
Do you?
Someone else want to go?
Oh right, yeah, Val, you go.
Okay, I'll go.
Please give me a good
This is
prop.
more
Something
fun
that
than
isn't.
like the actual.
Yeah, I was gonna say we're having more fun doing this.
It's fun. It's been so fucking long since I like played prop hunt. Remember, no jet boots, Tyler.
No jet boots. Tyler.
Tyler.
I'll take them off in a second.
Okay, I'll
Grr.
take them off. I'll go take them off now.
Grr.
Actually.
Yeah.
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 Since y'all are running off, I'm gonna give y'all 10. 10, 9, 8,
Oh,
7, 6.
I'm trying to get all the
Five.
fucking boots.
Okay, never mind then.
We get bonus
me when you-
points. Okay,
Tell me when you don't have them then.
okay, they run quick. Cool.
10, 9, 8.
Oh, I am
7,
royally fucked.
6, 5,
On the
4, 3, 2, 1. I'm ready.
My spot is entirely stupid, but that is all.
I wonder if anyone's gonna pull some horse piss like this again.
You never know.
I think I just like fucking physically felt a sweat drip down my forehead trying to get into my position.
Dude, fucking hide and seek in any capacity is really fucking tense. I don't know why everyone's like, oh.
I have a question. So for microphone and stuff like that, as like for settings, is it in like maybe what is it? Is there a way I can make it so that way there's like a set minimum my mic can pick up?
Yeah, you can put noise cancellation on your microphone. I
How do?
completely forgot to do that. I can teach you after the stream. Stream. I forgot to do that on mine, so everybody's probably hearing me tapping, but you know.
They can hear me itching myself.
Don't worry about it.
Then again, I have like one viewer, and it's probably Val.
No, not.
That's no, dude. That's how it starts.
Yeah, that's how it starts.
I convinced all of my friends to come and watch me, so I have at least like a pool of 5 or 6 people that come and by and have a look. My spot is so dumb it might actually work. Oh, I'm here.
Sweet Jesus.
Jesus is sweet.
Maybe.
What's the brain?
Yeah. And then what happened?
Shit. You shush, Tyler, okay? You know that my brain does not work at the best of times, okay?
When your brain don't work like it used to before.
My brain never worked in the first place. I got brain damage.
I got brain damage.
brain damage.
It reminds me of the fucking post that I put in our group chat. It was saying smoke alarm.
Smoke alarm.
Smoke alarm.
Smoke alarm. If that's not in r/you had one, dude. If that's not in r/you had one job, I'm gonna be disappointed.
I just love it when things are spelt so incorrectly. It's so funny to me.
I really love spoonerisms. Like mystery lecture.
Hist
the mystery lecture.
Hysterectomy.
Instead of Mr. History lecture.
Hyster-myster-lecture.
Mr. Detector.
Wrist-detector.
Wrist detector.
Yeah.
Good to know, everybody. Part of Tyler's diet is wrists.
Hyster-myster-lecture.
Sounds about right.
It's like that fucking llamas with hats. Carl.
Carl.
It's like, yeah, what he like.
Fucking jukebox.
I don't know. Did they? I didn't.
There's a jukebox?
Well, there you go.
Where the fuck are you guys?
Somewhere that shouldn't work. Clyde, what do you think?
My hot water bottle is no longer hot, and I'm sad.
It's not a warm water bottle.
It's a cold water bottle.
Truly one of the tragics.
Who the fuck's fighting for water and yeah. Somebody's doing something, alright. I just heard it. Somebody's doing
Well, the thing is that it shouldn't work given what I'm hiding with, but I'm banking on this. You see this?
something.
So I'm hoping also because of where this is that people won't notice.
How the fuck was that not a person?
I was kind of strapped for time, and to be fair, I didn't think this was what I was going to be lumped with.
Always expect the worst.
This is pretty shit, to be honest, given where I drank my drink.
And then what happened? Sorry.
And then what happened?
And then what happened?
Tyler, I will delete your kneecaps.
Oh, I need to get rid of Neo's fucking. I need to get rid of Neo's permission.
Yeah, I was gonna tell you that.
I forgot. I can't do it on my phone.
Nice, good job.
Wait a fucking minute. Okay, that's real.
All I can see is the corner of my eyes just going up and down.
I panicked a minute when Val was like, "Wait a fucking minute!" I was like, "Have I been found out?
Have I been discovered?
Have I been discovered? I don't think I have. I think I'm fine. Have I been discovered?
I heard that fucking rock and stone.
Yeah,
Wait a
but
minute.
should we actually do like a proper fucking prop hunt
Wait
and
a
hide and
minute, I
seek
see fucking-
stream? I think we should.
Should
Should we do it like? Should we do it next week? Weekend maybe. Mop.
Damn it.
I
Now I
got
have to
that.
play this game.
I'm also kind of fucked because if they find me, I'm screwed.
I think I heard someone on the fucking second level.
I don't think player barrels stick any direction other than up.
Yeah,
Oh,
they
really?
only stick up. Yeah.
You can't knock them over.
No, you can't kick them.
Not players.
Makes sense.
Yep.
So what you do then is you surround yourself with kickable barrels, and then it throws people off.
Yeah, and then you
They
hope.
just go bumping off them.
Yeah, but it saves you some time like that one time I did it with you. Is someone in
True.
fucking soup?
Soup.
I don't know what soup is.
What is the soup?
After declaring it
The
illegal.
thruster at the top of the drop pod.
Oh, that's soup.
Yeah.
What flavor soup is it?
Hot.
Hot soup.
That's me.
No.
That's also
I just punched my microphone. I feel bad.
Why'd you do that? For everyone watching.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
So apparently Lilith is sticking out really bad, but I can't see shit.
What?
I'm trying to use context clues.
Nah.
Yes.
It's not that I stick out really bad. It's just where I changed was a problem.
I'm just vibing. Throsh and throw.
You okay?
You want to try again?
No.
Tyler, do you need a minute? Do you need to have a sit down, have a lemon sip? It's one of the fucking things from the narrator from BG3, one of her outtakes. She's like, "Gail, you're right. You haven't had all your visions. Have a sit down, have a lemon sip."
Down, have a limb sip.
I think another one was really funny. She was like, "I'm a bard. I can fuck my way through any problem."
I heard that one, yeah. Yeah. I don't think I've ever been so entertained.
What, by just sitting here doing nothing?
Toxic, was that you who did a rock and stone?
Yeah.
Mm.
Hmm.
I am completely lost.
Alright, I got a great idea.
Think? Yeah, that's real.
Tyler, message me on Steam. Where are you?
I'm hacking into the mainframe to intercept. That narrows it down so much less than I hoped it would.
Oh my god, dude, that's not fair.
It's silly.
Sorry, I was meant to message you on Steam. 1 second.
But did you message me on Discord?
No.
No, they messaged Lynette on Picto chat.
Message them on TeamSpeak.
Oh my god.
TeamSpeak.
This is not where I would hide if I were a prop, but I'm also not a prop. I don't think I've actually seen anyone hide in this place yet. I'm surprised it's over.
Me either, and where I am.
It took a minute.
I'll send you a picture on Snapchat. Give me a second.
Oh damn, they're colluding.
I love this. They're actually pretty good hiding spaces when you think about it.
It's great. I'm banking on. Well, I mean, you can see in the picture.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm thinking?
Yeah.
What have we got here? What's yours?
I think mine's pretty clever, actually. I fell into it on accident.
Dude, that's so clever. What the fuck?
Thank you. I'm a genius.
Well, Tyler is a certified
Slaughterhouse
genius.
myself.
Hey, look, cows are more intelligent than you think.
Exactly.
I'm just saying.
Hashtag moo.
Hashtag moo. That's just
How
it.
you doing, Val? You give up? Uh-huh. What about you, Toxic? You give up yet?
Toxic, where are you?
I'm just over here.
Where is over here?
Not where you're looking. Not where you're looking. Not where you're looking at all.
Gravity recalibration, don't touch.
I have a vague idea of where they could be.
Do you?
No.
I have a vague idea of where they could be. Do you? No.
No.
I might go check the soup. Looks like we just fell into the spot.
Wow.
But
It could. You never know.
And no one's in the soup.
Soup store. What?
What?
Should I make this interesting?
Yes.
I feel like going for a little walk.
If you get caught, don't rat me out, please.
I was about to say I don't know where you are, but I do.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't even know where you are.
This will be perfect.
Making my way downtown.
Walking fast. Na, na, na.
Really depressed though. Everybody. And I need you. Now I wonder if I could clip into the ball.
You know, to be fair, I saw a Blink-182 style cover of that, and it was actually really fucking good.
Play.
Dude, I'll see if I can find it.
Are you two having the time of your lives?
No.
I know I am. I'm honestly surprised that this has worked so well, although, to be fair, there are a lot of things in this very small space of the lobby.
No, this barrel's not a person.
You sound so sad.
This barrel's not a person. No, it's a barrel.
No shit. Yeah.
Just kidding.
Look at that, we've been going for 2 hours. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is you right here.
We managed to make 2 hours of content of fun.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Professional content.
Well, I mean, technically, I guess it'd be like more like an.
Is this you, Tyler?
I guess it'd be more like
This
a.
you right here. This thing.
No.
What thing is this thing?
Why?
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 Bucket.
This is a bucket.
Bucket.
I'm like, this is a bucket, and then I hear someone go, "That's pretty."
Are you just playing
Technically, that's what Tyler is. They're a deer god.
Food.
fucking minute? I heard that rock and stone.
Well, I have not been found yet.
Are you fucking kidding me?
You want to see all three of my hiding spots? Come with me, Val. Look where I've been for the past 45 minutes.
Does this mean I win?
Let me
That was
show you
such
where
a
I've been.
stupid
No,
spot.
not yet.
That was
Look where-
such a. How
with
did I
me.
not
Tyler
find
knows
you?
where you are, so they could get you.
I could.
Don't though, please.
Are you fucking up in the?
Stand in
Let me
solidarity
show you
with
where I was.
stand in solidarity with me, Tyler. Please don't ruin the spot.
I will. You threw something at me and you missed and hit something else. I was stood here.
That was you?
Yeah, you hit the
I
thing
got
next to me.
robbed. I got robbed.
You're gonna mold so hard when you see where I've been hiding this entire time.
I'm just gonna be hiding like on top of a barrel or something.
Hold on. Was someone the trolley?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was Tyler.
What the hell?
Oh, I'm sorry.
This is stupid.
This is a
Right
scam.
now. This is a scam. You're entirely.
Now, I'd just like to remind you all that foxes are tricksters.
I know where
hiding
you
in the
are.
fucking-
I know you know where I am.
Stinky.
Okay, Lenneth isn't hiding in his fucking room again.
His
Well, if you're gonna
room.
call out like that, I'm gonna be inclined to come and smack you. Just saying.
Someone's awesome.
Have to abide by the rules. There are no rules anyway.
You want a hint?
Is this permissible?
He's within my local vicinity.
I don't know where you are either.
Hmm.
I see. You're local.
Local vicinity.
Local.
Not again.
Wait.
Oh, it
Oh, wait,
was.
that's real. Wait. No, that's also real.
That's really clever. That's really clever.
They gave you away. Oh man. There we go.
Where the fuck were you?
Someone,
like a
no,
chair.
someone fucking walked right in front of me, and they went, "Yeah, that's real," and I was like, "Oh."
That was me. I looked at you and I was like, "That's really clever," because it just looked like you were a
No,
part of
I
the
think
like
I
a
was
nut or a bolt.
I No, I was
Right, do you want to know where I was this entire time? So I moved when Tyler said they're in your immediate vicinity. That's where I moved to there. Where I was this entire game. Here.
I hate everything.
Because I was midway through that tunnel there when I changed, and I changed into a fucking chair. What am I supposed to do as a chair with 5 seconds left? Down here.
Oh, no. Alright, so are we doing one more or is that it?
One more. And then,
Okay,
Alright.
one more.
Alright, who hasn't
One
been secret yet?
You.
me.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's been secret. Alright.
And then we'll all go and raid someone.
Hell yeah.
Right,
Rock and Roller? Roller Avalon?
No. Roller is in the, Rug and Roller is in the Pokemon.
Lucky Hashira?
Right, what,
it's
is everyone ready? I'm drinking the thing.
Ready.
Ready.
Let's go.
Chug, chug.
20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10,
This does suck. dick.
9,
Where does this
8,
belong?
7,
No idea.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okie dokie. Where has
Oh, wait, that's why.
Where has everyone gone? Huh?
Ah.
Where has everyone run off to?
I'm tapping out. I'm watching Family Guy clips. I've won.
Oh no.
Oh fuck! Oh fuck!
What?
Cocky little bastard!
Yeah. Hehe. I'm so silly.
The irony of the fact that people could have found me last time by just looking down at the barrel thing.
You think I know how to look down in video games?
Well, that's the thing. That's what I was counting on.
Taught me
That's
not to
number
do
one
that.
rule of Minecraft is to not look down.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's don't dig straight down. My bad.
No,
I got my
I
games
I mean,
mixed.
it's kind of the same, I guess.
Doom growing up. I can't
Doom.
look down. I'm a Doom player. I can't look down.
Doom.
Technically, you also can't look up either.
Real. Wow. Me when Twitch.
Me with Twitch.
Me when Twitch.
Me with Twitch. This is so unfortunate. Barrel is kind of does kind of suck sometimes because you can kick it. All right, time
Oh,
to
did
go
you get
see.
hit?
Yeah, I got hit. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
To be fair, if I
I live
to be
in a
fair.
low income housing environment.
that goes by the government name of Section 8. Fucking hell.
Wait, what the fuck? Hold on.
Up we go.
Oh, who is the new viewer?
Oh no.
Hello.
Oh, by the way, Toxic, you might need to change your settings on your chat because you have it to follow a chat only, but you have to be followed for a month to be able to chat in your
Oh.
chat.
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
yeah, you-
Yeah,
How
that's
do I
kinda
fix
bad.
that?
Rip.
Hold on, I'm doing that right now. What do I have to do to fix it?
I believe you just go to your chat settings.
I'm looking at Tyler's stream. I want to see what's going on.
Yeah, that's called stream sniping, dog. Stream sniping.
I'm a pro.
Okay, you're fine. You're allowed to do that.
Yeah.
Follower only. Oh dear. How do I what? How do I just
There
turn
you go.
off? There
You
we
turned
go.
it off.
Off. Hello.
Oh yeah, we're about to hit 2 hours.
that is
We're at
you.
an hour
Hello.
58, I think.
I've been going for about 2 hours.
Yeah.
Damn, I'm sad if there was someone else in here that I didn't see that was typing. Hello.
It's okay. It happens. I probably should have checked that for you before we started.
This is true, but hey, look, you learn on the job.
Yeah.
Holy shit, we're in like very similar spots actually.
Really?
Oh, is this?
Yeah.
Are we screwed? Are we fucked? Toxic? Are we?
Screwed. We might be screwed because we cannot tell differences from places.
Mm,
Hold on,
this
let
is
me
true.
just go on Steam where I am. Secret.
It's a secret. I'm in the soup.
I'm actually surprised by the fucking stream quality of Deep Rock. I don't know why I expected it to be shit, but it's actually
The
quite
game
good.
can be hard to run sometimes.
Hold on.
But yeah,
Yeah.
it's just good.
Uno momento.
RGB ball. Ooh.
Ergball. Erg.
Argba.
That's me. Can't be up here because he didn't say shit earlier.
What?
Oh, hold on. I can try and show you.
The fuck? That.
See me?
Oh, that's crazy, dog. What
Yeah,
the
I'm
fuck?
there. I'm there.
What? What?
Yeah,
What
if
the
it's
hell?
something like that, then
I
I
th-
do not think.
I think.
didn't even know you could get there.
I think we might.
Neither did I.
Yeah, that's something toxic. I think we might be screwed. I'm just saying. I think we might be. We might be
We might be.
completely cucked. I think that's just how this is.
I'm gonna keep looking anyway, but
I'm gonna look in every single corner I can because I have a feeling that it's gonna be somewhere incredibly awkward.
I have no idea how I didn't get caught. They walked past me like 3 times.
Oh, I didn't even know. I'm a little stuck on what I can and can't view.
Yeah, I noticed. Mm.
Question is, when they say they've walked past me 3 times, which day are they on about? They on about you or me?
Both.
Wow.
Bit of a
Wow, wow.
bit of a problem.
Sweet Jesus. Blah, blah,
Blah, blah, blah.
blah, blah, blah.
Right, through the door. I like how this isn't even the main part of the game. We've just been playing this for like 2 fucking hours.
Oh yeah, we've done
Yeah,
one
it's fun.
actual mission.
Yeah, who cares?
It's fun.
Yeah.
It's also sparked another stream idea. Yes.
One actual mission and 8
Well,
rounds.
I have 1 ball left.
you have one bowl left.
I've been hitting everything that I figured was Well, I mean, they're not.
That is this place. That I think that was also me.
Bless
Sorry,
you.
I had to sneeze. Thank you.
Imagine.
Alright, time to add 1 for the count. Times I've been walked directly past.
What do you think, Brochowski?
I think I have an idea,
We
but it
should
might.
make like a little wheel of fate for the next time we play this,
Yeah.
and it should have like stupid crap on it, like you spin it, and one of the things is you have to hide it in the open, and shit like that.
Fuck.
Took me a
Dude,
second.
that would be funnier with just vanilla prop one. You have to hide the recliner in the open.
Yeah, I know.
Well, that was my last ball. That was the idea that I had, and didn't work.
Okay. Well, we now have Val. Val can be used as ammunition
As ammunition.
to kill.
Tyler.
Hmm.
Tyler.
Come on. Come on.
Tyler.
Come on. Come on.
Oh, well, that's what you are. I won't, but like, that is so fucking stupid.
You know, I didn't know where else
That
to
is
put myself.
so stupid.
I didn't know where else to put myself.
I'm gonna give them 10 minutes. I'm gonna set a timer on my phone. No, I'll give them 5 minutes. If they can't find you in 5 minutes, I'll just pop.
Yeah, I mean that's fair.
Alright. I've got 5 minutes to find Tyler.
I mean, I have no idea how I'm supposed to, like, you know. I mean, I don't have.
Look around and just have me attack something you want.
What were you?
I was like the air vent thing.
Small world
Oh, I see.
it's a small world after all.
My dad absolutely hated that ride when we went to fucking Florida.
I would too.
Real.
it's not because it was irritating. It's because it was kind of creepy.
It is a little creepy. Tyler, are you in the under construction area that you shouldn't be in?
No.
No?
Did
Nope.
you find them?
No?
Oh shit! I got an achievement.
Wonder who that was.
That's me.
Got it.
Why have you got Nermal as the mission control thing? No, that's not
Funny.
Nermal, that's Neko Arc. That's so cute.
Same diff.
It's just
It's
become
funny.
normal
I also
now.
have it. Yeah, normal
Too
brain
bad.
mod.
Nermal
It's a
brain
mod.
It's a mod.
I have
Oh,
the
so
same
weird.
mod, but I don't have the voice lines mod for it enabled.
Oh, the music's getting well intense whilst I'm waiting.
Yeah. Still got 3.5 minutes to find Tyler. I'll
Fuck.
give you a hint. It's so fucking stupid.
What do you
That's not a
mean?
hint.
Stupid in what way? Stupid as in it's so fucking obvious, or stupid as in it's
Stupid as in is kind of unfair.
Yeah, stupid isn't
Yeah,
kind of
then-
unfair.
I don't think it's a good
Alright,
hint,
bye,
but
Olmax.
whatever.
You're in the right
Alright.
room.
I didn't even need to
Plateau.
go in there, being honest.
what room is the right room?
The Memorial Hall.
Okay, Memorial Hall. I don't-
That's the one hint I'll give. It's the Memorial
Okay.
Hall.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yay!
I was just kind of like, I don't know if I'd put something there.
Right, should we see what happens if we go and raid someone?
Alright,
Yeah,
how
let's
do
do a raid.
I raid?
Well, I was thinking if everyone ends theirs and then hops into my chat, I'll ferry us all over
You
to.
just want to get raided.
It's not that I want to get raided. I want to raid someone else.
Yeah, let's go. Minus right.
Yeah.
Raid. You can have me. You can have me.
All right, let me just close my Twitch chat
Alright, lads.
thing.
That's the worst outro. I'm never doing that again.
All
Alright, lads.
right, lads.
Alright, everybody.
Going
Alright,
Next
thanks
time we'll
lots for
have-
joining. Yeah, we'll probably do this again. That was
Yeah,
fun.
we'll probably
Yeah.
do more
See y'all
streamers.
later.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Isaac tomorrow for whoever's in the funny.
of course.
Ooh, Isaac
I-
would be fun.
Once I actually get shit set up, I'll stream. Eventually. Probably like in a couple days.
Of course.
How do I raid?
Adios.
Well, I'm going to go and raid hell. Are either of you gonna come and join me on this or?
How do I raid?
You.
I don't
Wow.
know if you can raid.
Right, I'm gonna start the raid. Ready to raid in 10 seconds.
You're not even coming up on my shit, which is funny to me. Oh wait. Oh wait.
Are we ready to, right, so I'm ready to raid.
How do I
Okay,
join you?
I'm in your stream.
We've got 3 people.
Yeah. Who is this?
Is this all we've got?
Yeah.
Alright, seems like it.
Man,
Right, let's go.
raid time. Raid time.
Where the fuck?
Hello. My name's
Oh, they've got that stinger. Sorry, I know that lady's stinger very well. I know who made that.
Eat, sleep, poop.
That's cute as fuck.
Yo. Why are they getting rocks thrown at them?
Oh, I can finally set that up. Bailey,
Yeah.
I can finally set that up.
We can throw rocks at people.
Yeah, I've got gummy sharks.
Hell yeah.
I've got massive gummy sharks that people can throw at me.
You monkey.
Wait, do you need to be like affiliate to have people to be able to
Nope.
throw rocks and shit at you?
You just need to be
I
able to have
command you.
redeemables.
This sounds like fucking
So as long as you
Power
have
Wars. Holy
points.
shit. I command you to go back where you came from. May your
It will
soul-
be
well, this is not
3
really
channel
actually
points to throw a rock
May
at
your
me,
soul
and 200 to
return
throw
to the
anything
earth.
else.
May your body return to the dust.
Okay, one
so
second,
be
right?
the
I need to
will
work
of
out
the
how to
Lord.
do this now. Oh, exciting!
Uh,
Oh, sorry, I had to double check that I wasn't still alive. Yeah, I'm not.
Help. Where the fuck did my PNG go?
Oh.
Oh, there it is. What the fuck? Hello, readers! Welcome in. My name is Hal. I'm a
how do I do this?
co-VTuber. Usually I have a model, but until Saturday I
Shits
am just
myself.
PNG Andy for now because something's broken. That's when it's gonna get fixed, so I hope you do not mind that. Lineth, thank you so much for the raid. I hope you had an absolutely wonderful stream playing some deep Rock Galactic. However, if you do need to go, if you gotta go eat, you gotta go sleep, you got shit you need to go do, please do not feel any obligation to stick around and keep me company or talk to me or anything like that. Go do what you need to go do.
It's like
We don't
some
raid it
stupid
here.
standard that
Just
people
make sure
have that
you
they
are
assume.
comfy.
So
And
big
for those
streamers
that
assume that
do
when they get
feel
raided,
like
everybody who
sticking around,
joined the
I
raid will
really
stay
appreciate
there.
that.
Mhm.
Hope you enjoy your time here. Although
And they expect you to interact with them and everything.
probably not
so that's
gonna
like,
stream for much longer because we just finished the game.
whatever.
However, there's fucking bonus content. What the fuck is that all about? Oh, I don't want to do it now though. It's probably gonna be so long.
I think
Hello, Karen.
that was honestly very fun, yeah.
Yeah.
6.5 hours. Yeah.
I still need to get all my shit set up,
Yeah,
though, of course,
I
but
want to
would
finish the
fucking
game.
do this stream next time.
How is
Yeah,
how is your
another day, but-
dwarfing and your digging
Yeah.
and your deep
I
Rock
got a
Galactic
pin.
one? I hope you had.
I need to
lots of
finish
fun.
my food.
But yeah, there's bonus content. I was clicking around on the menu, by the way.
Goodbye, gamers.
Bye, gamers.
You can click shit. This guy's just going, hey,
I want.
hey, hey. It's mostly Spike. You're right. We did one dig, then we played prop hunt. Oh yeah. I was
don't know
told
how
they
this
added
works.
that. Hey. Click the bonus content. Extra gameplay.
What is this?
Alternate ending. Huh?
Spoil full of.
A man has fallen into the river. A man has fallen into the river in Lego City. Almost fun as a chair clipping into the wall. Nice! Prop hunt in
on
any
the
game tends to be
installer
quite
button
fun,
from here.
honestly. I think,
Oh, it's installed.
I think I was told that
Exciting, but what?
because I don't really play Deep Rock Galactic, but I have quite a few friends that play it. The prop hunt gives you
What?
something to be, right? Lego City, I haven't heard that. I watched both the Lego movies recently, actually. After I watched Lego Batman, I was like, I want to see what the other movies are about. They weren't as good as Lego Batman. Lego Batman definitely still my favorite, but the Lego movies are still my favorite. I'm not fucking doing this. I'm not doing this today.
No, you don't
This
have
is
to.
not getting done today. I'm sorry. I cannot. I already had all of my brain juice leak out onto my floor. My son is licking it up. He's actually sleeping right now, but he's licking it up off of the floor. Hey, wait 2 years. Nah, I might actually be more incentivized
Put
to
that bitch
play
back
this
in
one
admin.
because and complete it because the it's as you said,
Where?
the next 2 games are Ravenhurst games. No problem,
Putting
Lynette.
Jake back
Thank
to
you again
admin
for the
instead of
raid. I
Freeman.
really appreciate that you feel you can trust your community with me. It's very sweet. You go get plenty of rest, and hopefully I will see you again sometime.
Right.
Yeah, I think
How does this work?
we're gonna end it here today. I am sorry, I cannot deal.
That was good. That was some good shit.